that we have our guest motorsports with us tonight. Ronald Queen, Terry Parsons, Steve Swift. I was wanting to say Wilson for some reason. Steve Wilson is, that's close. Sorry. But Steve Swift. And I'd like to welcome you. And Tony, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. You got a 64-page contract on your desk in front of you, which I imagine you've all read every single word of. I'm glad to answer questions about it, and Brooke will too. A lot of work has gone into it. A lot of time, a lot of discussions. Steve's been involved in it. We appreciate all of Steve's help on it. He's had a lot of involvement. Terry and Ronald will have a lot of involvement going forward as we get into this project, which we're already really into. But we need formal approval tonight of our design build contract. John, Chris, Brooke, and I have been involved quite a bit in discussions with Choate Construction Company, which was selected as a design builder. This contract is a result of quite a bit of discussion, meetings, working out a lot of issues to get this into a shape which we think will be right for the Speedway project. I'm going to explain just a little bit about it before I really present it to you formally. It is a design-build contract. That means that Choate Construction Company will both design and be in charge of constructing what's done at the Speedway. Of the $18 million that was awarded by the state in the bill that was passed last year, $14 million has been earmarked for this contract. And the $14 million is basically for improvements at the Speedway. The contract covers the arrangement between the parties for how that will happen. But I do want the board to know that the way we had to set the contract up is going forward, it's not all going to be done at one time in one specific project that'll last like 30, 60, 90 days. This is going to be a process. It's going to take months, probably well into next year, and we'll keep working on it in stages or phases as they come up. So the way we've arranged this contract is that we will enter into this with the board's approval. But then as we get into specific stages of the work, Choate will have to come back to us with what's called a guaranteed maximum price proposal for each stage of the work. The board's familiar with guaranteed maximum price. We've done that before. The way that basically works is Choate will go through the process of bidding out subcontracting work for specific parts of the work, phases, stages, whatever you want to call them. And as they obtain prices and can get a contract price for that phase, they will come back to us and say, okay, here's the first stage of the work. Here's what we're proposing to do in stage number 1 or stage number 2 or whatever. Here's the guaranteed maximum price that we will give you on that work. Each time that happens, it'll come back to you for approval. So the approval of the contract tonight is very important, but that basically just opens the door to get started so that Choate can come back with individual GMP proposals for different stages of the work. You'll be seeing us come back from time to time. Every time we do, there'll have to be an amendment to this contract for the next stage of the work. But the contract that you have in front of you tonight is sort of an umbrella that covers the entire project, that sets the parameters for how we're going to do it. And it has an actual cap max price of $14 million. And that 14, of course, will come from the funds allocated from the state. We made sure that there's nothing in the contract that binds the county to spend any taxpayer money on this project. There's nothing contractually that will require you to do that. The only thing this contract covers is the $14 million of the $18 million allocated by the state. I think that's an important point to make, and I want the board to know that I feel like we're covered on that. The contract itself, again, is just between the county and Choate, and although it's very lengthy, that's pretty much our summary of how it's going to work. So expect Choate to come back, hopefully very soon, with a GMP for the first proposal. They've already actually started. And to cover that, we want to make the contract effective backdated to September 23rd, which is when they actually started. That's permissible to do that. If you're agreeable, we can do that. They haven't actually taken any steps. I don't think they would violate ARPA. Brooke's been really good about helping us with that aspect of it and has made sure that the work they've already done thus far and what's in this contract is in compliance with federal requirements. But ARPA imposes on these funds, which is the American Rescue Plan Act, that was passed by Congress. That's ultimately where these funds come from. That's an overview of how the contract works. I'll be glad to answer any questions the board may have. Brooke or John or Chris or I will do our best if the board has any.
Commissioners.
I just have one. So when, in getting the guaranteed maximum price, do they have to have so many bid on that? If they get 2, can they proceed, or do they have to have 3, or?
Yes.
So they have to have like 3 prices, then if they don't get that, do they have to put it out again?
They have to rebid
So
it.
they have
About
to rebid
7
it.
days. They'd have to rebid it.
Every
You
7
wouldn't
days.
open up on the first time. It's just like the state requirements, basically.
Yeah, I just was wondering.
Yep.
That could hold up the process, but I wish there was a way out of that.
We promise you, there's not a way out of it.
I get it,
We've
but-
looked.
Mr.
know,
Swift might have a comment or
actually
two
it's
on
already-
that.
I saw you nodding, and I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, and personally, but
I wish we could work around that. We told Steve up front, we told Joe too, government's slow.
so yeah, it
He
is like
believes it
herding
now.
turtles. I'll give you that.
We're driving Mr. Swift crazy.
Well, I want to make sure Mr. Swift gets his
He's
project.
leaning on me to do more that we can't get done.
Lean on him, buddy. Lean on him.
It's kind of
Yeah.
because there's a race in May, so
Yeah.
regardless, we have to be there in May. Whatever we have done is it's going to be get done in
Yeah.
May. So it's and they have done a fantastic job.
Oh, I
through
agree.
all these regulations because it's not their hands are tied. It's
I completely understand.
us used to having one way of doing things and having to rearrange the ways.
It is hard. So on a second put out, if we put it out 2 times, what if you can't get 3? So
You can open, doesn't matter. You can open. If you've just got one, you can open it after.
You don't matter if
Okay.
they put it out, so whatever bids, bids.
so you
Just one,
can
2, or
you can
3.
speed it up to second 7 days if you don't get 3, or
That shouldn't be an issue in most things. There's just a couple items that are unique.
Right.
That
Yeah.
we're into one right now currently. The lighting, sports lighting, there's not, they priced
Right.
that out because they could.
Yeah.
And we went got 2 bids.
So-
we're in the process of the second round of waiting.
so then we can get it. Then okay, because that's how we did with the fire training ground. That
That's
was
right.
we had
That's
a
right.
put up a training grounds for the firemen, and we had a hard time because there's only certain companies. So all right, well that makes me feel just a little bit better. So that was my question.
Just to put it, if I can, speak candidly, just so everybody knows, Joe's actually doing a fantastic job of trying to put big scopes together so we avoid the timeframes. So when you see these phases, they're trying to word it and design it such that the phases are big. So it's not like we have to do 15 different phases. We can wrap 15 into one. So
Perfect.
it'll help to speed up this whole process.
It
You don't
will.
have to come back to you guys 15
Excellent.
times. We can just come back 5 or 6 times.
That's perfect. All right, good. I won't be here, but I'm in support. I've got like 3 meetings left if they don't add no more. They keep adding. I said 4 for the last 2 months. They keep adding. So here we go.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
This gets you where you need to be. So we can be ready in May.
A lot closer.
We are going to race in May, yes.
Perfect.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve I don't know, is there
Is
special
there a
word?
special motion?
On the wording, I think I would probably ask is that, probably to approve the contract between the county and Choate the design build contract between the county and Choate Construction dated September 23, 2022, as presented at tonight's meeting.
So moved per Tony's
We have a motion.
council.
We have 2
2
seconds.
seconds.
2 seconds.
I'll third. So there you go.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
All right.
Appreciate you coming tonight. Thank